Like, you're shouting yourself in the mirror. It's like, come, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. And as much as it probably will be bouncing ideas off of people who I don't necessarily know are willing to talk about something like this, it's at least a way for me to vent on something that will have a record of sorts. And whether that is public record or private record, it doesn't really matter, just as long as it's a thing.
I mean, I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, no, and that's a you send me the audio and we'll figure out what happens. But for right now, it's just there are far too many emotions about just everything. I was talking to Ben about this earlier, and the general thought is that this is obviously not the end, and anyone who's characterizing it as such doesn't understand what the end is.
No.
It is an apocalypse in the sense that people don't know what the apocalypse is.
It is an apocalypse in the sense that the Obama administration is over. It's an apocalypse of the Obama administration.
It's an apocalypse of uncertainty. Like, we come from a more or less peaceful era of American platitudes to, like, we have a campaign, or we have a president now who ran on a campaign of xenophobia and sexism and racism. Yeah. And we're just going to see what happens out of that. Like, is he placating his supporters? Is that actually how he feels?
So I have a question for you two guys. The last major presidential election before Obama was 2004.
Well, I specifically want to catch you guys more than me.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay. Were you guys of voting age in 2004?
2004? No.
Was I? Yeah.
Were you?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Did you vote for Kerry?
John Kerry.
Did you vote period for the presidential?
Yeah, that's actually fair.
I can't remember. Actually, this was
that's fine.
Like, 2004 was in 7th grade. I can tell you that.
I was. Oh shit.
2004. No, it was November 2004.
I was in 7th grade.
I was in 8th grade. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm 1 year
Are you a year older than me? Do we have this discussion?
Older.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, in 2004, I would have been 19. So
you were a voting age?
Yeah.
You were voting age.
I definitely voted for John Kerry. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Because back then I was very much a party guy.
Fair enough. I will also say for my own purposes, because I was having this discussion with people on election night yesterday, and I was having this discussion with my mom yesterday, which is that this is the first time a candidate that I have actively been in support of has completely failed, and not just lost, but seemingly, and I know she won the popular. Fine. That's not the argument.
Oh, did she?
She did.
She actually did by 200,000.
California has a fuckload of people,
yeah.
And I think we all forget just how much a fuckload is when it comes to the active popular vote. It's a lot, and she mobilized a lot of Hispanics who were really fucking scared of the guy. And I think we all forget what that kind of fear truly tastes and feels and sounds like. The idea that kind of fear mobilizes people in a way that is just unheard of. You don't wake up the next morning feeling okay. You wake up the next morning feeling you got punched in the jaw. Yeah. I have a feeling there are a lot of people in battleground states that are very, very afraid right now.
I mean, okay, so last night I saw more. For the record, we're recording this right now.
It is Wednesday, November 9th.
Yes, the day after the election.
Yes, it is.
9, 10, and 4 beers in, roughly.
Well, I'm a half a beer in.
You showed up late.
He's got a bunch in his system. This is number 2. I specifically am pacing myself because my running joke is that this election scared me sober, and I officially can no longer trust what reality tells me. So the only way I can guarantee that is sobriety, which clearly I'm going up against. But
nailed it.
Yeah, now
crushed it.
If the asshole in the elected office of the presidency can somehow claim that he is for women's rights while actively groping women, I can claim
then
that I am
sobriety while actively having a beer.
I can claim that I am sober while also drinking.
Correct.
So last night I saw more random people on the streets just crying. Like,
Ben was telling me this.
Yeah, I was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
After I left you guys, I went out to Seattle. On my way home, I stopped by my favorite little dive bar. And there was...
As you should on a hard election night.
Correct.
Everyone was very
just
somber.
Don't drive. Yeah, just don't drive drunk.
No.
Better than that.
Everyone
just
was...
talk over
Yeah, everyone was very somber and just, like...
defeated.
People were crying. And there was one girl who I will say had too much to drink that night.
Sure.
She didn't know and her and her friend were talking about how like it's weird, like this might not be as clean and cut as we want it to be, and then her friend's like, no, it's over, he won, and then she's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, it's a fair statement. Like, a lot of, like, I was listening to NPR about this, like, every single pollster, every professional, every political commentator, every single person who works in politics, whether it's you're a reporter or you're an actual politician or you're a supervisor or whatever, every fucking one of them thought, like, yeah, this is a goddamn shoo-in for Clinton at this point. And
I will also say this:
not
most, if not every woman I've talked. By the way, keep in mind this is a podcast run by 3 men. Let's talk about that and just address that shit right now.
We have different ethnicities, though.
But I will say this: none of us are as devastated as the female population.
No.
Let's just say that right goddamn.
There is absolutely no way. No fucking way any of us are feeling this the same way that people we know who are women or like.
No, I know you can address it. I am Indian and I am feeling.
I was gonna say women are gay, and I'm like, well.
Well, no, it's fair. Like,
and
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, so, like,
Ben is pan.
yeah, I'm a pansexual.
That's something.
Look, we're on the spectrum, damn it. We're the asterisk.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. As someone who studied psychology, you're not wrong.
For the record, there are 3 guys here. One is of Indian heritage. One is pansexual, and I'm the control.
That's the best way of putting it.
So I went to my school today, and one of my teammates, he actually came from, I believe, Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, one of the two. I'll check back with him.
Shit.
He immigrated here because of gay rights issues. He's actually getting persecuted in his country.
Oh no.
And he's been posting, he's been talking to me privately, nothing that's exposing him at all, but he's like, yeah, like, I'm actually genuinely terrified to come in to school and like interact with people at this point, and I'm trying to reach out to the bloke.
Okay.
Like, hey, you're good, but
so
I get it.
Yeah.
But we're in a bubble too. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Like, he's good in the bubble that we're safe in, but as a country, like, there's some very
he can never leave the Seattle area.
He's afraid of the people who might have just ignored him before, feeling empowered to actively pick on him or worse.
And I will say this: Seattle and the East Side has never been perfect. I had someone who was an outspoken feminist who had just gotten her car back, who's a coworker of mine who had just gotten her car back from getting a paint job, have "fuck you" carved in her car by a set of keys on her fresh new paint at BC, which is Bellevue College. That shit happened, and like that is documented, and they're looking into it. But like, I will say this: as much of a liberal bubble as we live in, and we do, let's address that now. This stuff will not affect us as hard as someone who is gay who is living in fucking Ohio.
Right.
I don't even think like Ohio. I'm thinking like Austin, Texas. Even.
Fair enough. Once again, bubble though.
Yeah, but a little bit bubble. If you're surrounded by
I'm saying, let's just put it in this scenario. If you're a gay man who is living in rural Ohio, there are assholes who now feel that it is completely acceptable to just get you killed. And that was always the case, but the problem is that they feel...
Did you guys hear about what they were chanting at the Trump rally?
Yeah, we hate Muslims, we hate blacks, we want our country back, because, gasoline and matches need to be a thing that I have to just stop this. Yeah. This is insanity.
Like, say what you will, there are a lot of people I know... I have heard that there are a lot of people across the country who were going to vote for Trump because they felt like the government was not speaking to them or taking care of them the way it should be. That they felt like he was a change that would help give them a voice or just a change in general, just to shake shit up.
Yeah.
And it's like, those people are not necessarily bad people. But
No,
the people
they're
at
not.
that rally chanting, those
They
are
are the
bad people.
To put it in perspective, they are the bad people.
But there's other people who are showing up though, who are being the ones like in front of the media cameras. And
So,
be like, hey,
yeah.
like fuck black people. It's like, hey, like let's not do that.
So
because
this
it's
was
awful.
something that was genuinely terrifying that happened to me yesterday when I was. So once again, it's attributed to Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know if it's accurate, but there was a quote from yesterday that was, "Don't go to sleep. Don't drink. Stay up. Watch this. Burn it into your retinas. Go to sleep. Wake up tomorrow with those images in your brain and get to work." It is the reminder that we lost this. And we lost this by a lot. And I don't mean by an actual large margin, because once again, she won the popular. We lost this by losing the people who used to be with us.
Right.
We have alienated the people who used to be the Democratic Party's stronghold. We lost Pennsylvania, and they lost Florida to a degree that is scary, and also Michigan and Wisconsin. And Ben and I were talking about this earlier. We lost places that are part of the Rust Belt, who lost jobs that are never coming back. And you, me, Ben, fucking everybody in Washington State that is part of the tech society, and anyone who understands economics, knows we are not getting those jobs back. Steel is a dead industry in the United States.
Yes. Steel is a dead industry, and even if for some reason people started, like, say, manufacturing cars in America again, it'd be a completely automated process.
Precisely. They don't need
want
human
to pay
beings
for
for it.
people to do
No.
that.
Trucking in 3 years, thanks to Uber and Tesla, that's going to be a dead business in the U.S., and that's actually the primary employer of people in this country. The problem is that the Democratic Party decided, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, and I hate this, but they decided to pay attention to us rather than them. Because they should have known that they were going to get our vote. I'm an Indian man, he's a pansexual, and you're a reasonable human being. That is a terrible way of putting that, and I apologize.
Oh, man.
And I apologize. But you're...
That's fantastic.
It's not even short-sighted necessarily. Like, you mean well in saying that.
Yeah, but
like, not to say there's not any like well-meaning Republicans who just want
there
to have
are.
better
There
jobs and better
are.
futures for themselves.
And there are. And it's selfish, but they're short-sighted, but they're selfish, and they're doing what they need to do to hopefully get something
The
back.
people who spoke to me the most during the election season, which, by the way, was a very, very long election season.
To quote Paul Krugman's article, to quote David Brooks's article yesterday morning, let's not do this again.
No.
Can we change our election
most
cycle?
other countries have election seasons that are like a month.
Canada was 78 days and they thought it was long.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is long.
We had potentially 500 and something.
Okay, so
This hurt.
yes, this
fun.
was rough. But the people who spoke to me personally, not like directly to me, but like to the cockles of my heart, the people who put a fire in my heart to get out and vote and really like let's try and get this right, were the podcasts I listened to. Like,
Valid.
trends like these, Brento Floss and Travis McElroy, they were the people that made me most interested in voting this time.
I mean, well,
So-
let's go around the table. What made you want to vote, Ben?
I was gonna bring it up to discussion.
No,
It's
fair
also
enough,
very
yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, perfect timing.
So my joke answer is that my wife threatened to divorce me if I didn't vote.
Fair enough.
She
What's
probably
the-
would have.
She also threatened to divorce me if I didn't vote for the correct candidate.
Also valid. Well, because once again, being the fact that we are currently running a conversation run by three men, of course we don't know what it feels like to be that disenfranchised in a country that is half
and
yours.
So for context, it's my wife is she's half white, and her half white often gets mistaken for being a foreigner, which is not correct. She was born in America, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, my big reason for voting is just like at the end of the day, like we can have all these different economically diverse policies, we can have all these different discussions about tax and whatnot, but if you're going to sit there and say that, hey, like women can be groped just freely, and like for me, and we've talked about this, Andrew and I talked about this a little bit before, like I can't get past the social aspect of a lot of stuff. Where you can't sit there and just grope, like say you're going to grope women and be chill about it. Even if it was in 2005, even if you did forgive and forget, people can change, and I get that. But that apology is not a real apology.
Oh, hell no, it's
his
not.
his running mate is super anti-LGBT, and it's like, no, like, as the majority of my friend base is actually LGBT, like, I can't sit there and stand by that.
I will also say this: the other fear right now is, I was talking about this with some coworkers, is that if Trump goes, what do we get? We get an even more actively misogynist, homophobic, actual politician who understands policy and can implement the crazy shit that he believes. It's the George Bush, Dick Cheney phenomena all over again, where you hate Bush. Well, what do you get? You get Cheney. Nobody wants Cheney. Nobody wants Pence. Do you really want the conniving, scary, hilariously evil politician who might as well be wearing a Dr. Doom mask in the background? And do you really want him to run the country? Cheney.
I mean, when you wear the Dr. Doom mask,
You're telling me Dick Cheney wouldn't walk around, doesn't spend his time walking around his secret compounds in a Dr. Doom mask and a cowl, shouting at his employees that you will follow my orders, for I am Cheney, the great lord of this bunker. Are you telling me he doesn't do that?
yeah, I'm telling you that he probably does do that, and he also threatens to shoot them if they don't work hard enough.
I was gonna say, does
And
anybody
he'd get
else
away with it?
Does anybody else remember
Quailgate?
Quailgate?
A vital organ, so it's
Does
apparently
anybody
okay.
else remember Quailgate, where he
Oh,
just
yeah.
shot a man 4
He
times?
shot a dude, like,
I remember the Daily Show coming back the next day and just being like Jon Stewart just sitting there. Guys, I'm afraid to say anything because there might be birdshot. I don't know what to say. Like, it's that same level of like Jon Stewart, deer in the headlights, Quailgate. How the fuck do I respond to this in any way that is comedic and funny without openly recognizing that a man just got shot 4 times for no reason? Because let's be serious, that was clearly some
And
kind
then-
of like message he was sending.
And then apologized.
The man apologized to Cheney.
Yes,
Which was,
Cheney.
which was clearly, by the way, if we're going to talk about scary power plays in politics that everybody forgot, Dick Cheney basically mock executed a man and then had him apologize to him.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Yep.
So if I can transition this, it's a
No,
weird
we
transition.
were talking about things.
Yes.
and,
If we're actually talking about things and stuff that's not
Yeah,
executing
yeah.
political people.
Well,
on
before making
accident.
fun of Cheney shooting someone in the face.
so easy.
It's a
It
loaded
is.
question. There's obviously no correct divide on this.
Yeah, totally.
Who is the fault for the election? Is it
Okay.
is it Hillary's response? Is it Hillary's campaign, or is it Trump's activism?
John, you go
who
first,
ended
because
up winning this?
I've got
Because
a
Andrew and I
long-
talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I've
but-
got a long answer to this.
So,
So-
normally I'm not a huge fan of pointing fault, and I will say that there's a lot at fault here. If I had to pick the biggest fault, I would probably just go with I would probably say that it was the way that the DNC treated Bernie.
Yeah.
If we had if it had been Bernie versus Trump, we would probably be looking at a Democratic president. A Democratic president again.
Well, we've seen many articles that come out. It's like, yeah, Bernie would want to win a fucking landslide. It's like, well, here's the reality we are in, though. Like, we can play armchair quarterback,
No, yeah.
and
No,
I know.
This is also
Yeah.
why I always hate pointing fingers.
I was gonna say,
and
John,
picking fault.
don't get us wrong. Our comments are not meant to stop you
No,
from
no,
saying that.
I know.
I agree. I agree, but I also don't think it's worth
It's
talking
just
about.
okay. So last night, there were a lot of people who were immediately trying to point fingers at who was to blame for all of this.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, we're all to blame for this.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
It's voting.
Yeah.
You know why Trump won? Because we didn't vote for Hillary. That's why Trump won.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, anyone who voted
for not Trump.
Not Trump.
Yeah.
You can say the third party argument. Like,
No,
it's-
okay, so like
the third party argument is strong with Florida.
I don't want to disparage third parties either, because I want there to be more than 2 parties in this goddamn country.
I agree.
And a lot needs to change.
No,
And-
totally. We should have a robust third party system, and the Electoral College is a waste of time.
Yes,
But-
there are so many things.
Because
that
the
are-
one time it was supposed to stop a tyrant, it didn't fucking do its job.
Yeah. So okay. There are a lot of things to blame, and I don't like pointing fingers. I don't like,
Agreed.
but
I hear a huge
yeah.
butt coming.
You guys go ahead. I'm gonna get a beer.
Okay, so
you-
I kind of want you to stay for this because this is going to be the rant to end all rants from my perspective. And I kind of wanted you to hear this in real time.
I'll stick around.
No. Get a beer. I will wait, and then the rant of
I will
all
also
rants
get a
will
beer,
potentially.
because I don't want
I
to
might
be
come with you.
Actually,
Actually,
just come with me. So
yeah.
put
No,
on
I'll get a
clause.
schooner, and then we'll call it good.
All right. Be right back, recording.
I'll be right back. All right.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, and we're back.
So all right. So here's the thing. And John, this kind of leads back to your original point, and
Right.
obviously we'll talk about this as we continue this, but I feel like everyone is pretty much the best possible answer to who is responsible for this. And the thing is, it's not just who's responsible for Trump. Because let's be serious with ourselves. We live in a liberal bastion and a giant bubble, and nothing's gonna happen to Washington.
And, okay,
Washington State is the most untouchable blue in
Yes.
human history.
we like I was saying yesterday night, we are a geo-social political bubble.
We are, and I think it's the perfect analog for where we're currently at in where it, okay, so they broke this down way back when there was, I cannot believe this was trending, because psychopaths. Repeal the 19th was trending on Twitter, which for those of you who don't know, the 19th Amendment is what is the Women's Right Amendment. It is the Suffragette Amendment. It is super important to what we consider to be a nation. And Repeal the 19th was trending on Twitter, and it is one of those things that was horrifying to observe on numerous different levels. But you also knew that half of the people who were on there were doing it on there for shock value, because shock value is what people are fueled by this point. Which is why, if you haven't seen it, go watch the new season of South Park, because god damn it, does that address some things that I have frustration with in modern society. But there was something hilarious when they were breaking down Washington, is the people who saw the Repeal the 19th stuff decided to break every state down on a map by what would happen if only this people voted, what would happen if only these people voted, etc., etc., etc. In every prediction model, only African Americans, only Latino voters, only women voters, only male voters, only white male voters, only white women voters. Every single prediction model blew. California even went red under white male voters. California went red in white male voters. Washington don't give a fuck. We are the most hardcore blue liberal state in human history. And there is something beautiful and something to be appreciated about that as someone who is a Democrat.
As a side note, I'm naming this file Post-Election Blues.
Oh, please, yes. Oh
real
my
good.
god, that is beautiful
So
shit.
I'm curious though, because a lot of I've read stories about this here, like where the white male voter is the reason that Trump got elected, no matter what the state particularly is, and as a white male identifying voter,
I get you.
Where's my disconnect versus the rest of the populace? Like, is it
So
because I
here-
identify as other people?
so
Is
here's
it
the
because
thing.
of other
I feel
issues?
like, and as someone who's been reading data and has spent the entire day reading articles nonstop, like I woke up at 9 and I don't think I've stopped reading until I got here, and I only stopped reading because my phone's at 30% and my battery has a nasty tendency to just tank at 30%.
Okay.
So the reason why, and this seems to be the case, and this seems like you're explaining the apocalypse to people and why someone decided to cause nuclear fire, and it's that we're undervaluing that. It's not white male. It is. That is predominantly what they are. But you know what the fuck they also are? Unemployed, poor, and not valued in this economy. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. And admittedly, that is also someone who's saying this who also isn't feeling the direct possible influence of this. Ben, you were telling me about someone who in Chicago had the N-word yelled at them.
Yeah,
Like-
as a very quick story, just sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
no, do it.
My
Shit's
good,
important.
my good college buddy of mine, the bloke went to University of Illinois, same thing as I did. He graduated, I didn't, so fault on me.
Yeah. We're
But
not here to
he's
judge
really
that.
successful in the Chicago area. He works for a really big tech corporation. Not to give out too many specifics, but he is a really well-off, really affluent, really professional gentleman. he's also black. And so apparently after the election, some sort of echoes you hear from the Brexit after that happened, where he was sitting at a bus stop trying to get to his job, trying to get to his building, and someone yelled to him, was like, "Hey, I won't say
please don't say it. God damn it!
I'm not gonna have John edit out words he doesn't have to."
Yeah.
He's like, and some woman across, she's like, "Hey, like, N-word," and he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" And she continues like, "Yeah, like, I'm glad that Trump is now elected, so we don't have to see any of you people in office anymore." And it's like, and he just looks, is like, I don't. What did I do? Like, I just exist. I'm at this bus stop 5 days a week. I don't understand what the problem is.
So understand, audience, that we are three people who are essentially speaking from the equivalent of a post-apocalyptic bunker. We are the Vault people speaking to you to the Fallout zones.
There, Wasteland.
We are essentially Capital City Radio right now. We are people speaking to you from a zone of safety because we are sitting in an artificially created zone of safety that if you fuck with the city of Seattle...
Hey, we're just three dogs.
That was good. I like that one. But in all seriousness, we are three people speaking to you from the Vault while the post-apocalypse is happening.
Oh, yeah.
We are speaking to you from pure and complete and utter safety in a state that couldn't go red if it wanted to.
We're also in a state that even if the bulk of the country went to like hell in a handbasket, we'd still be pretty much okay.
We essentially built a flaming middle finger on the Cascades in effigy, lit it, and just sat back in a fortress of
Western Washington in the King County area is basically America's bunker.
The King County area, definitely, but it's
assuming no one directly bombs us.
Travels between the west of Washington and the east of Washington fairly regularly.
East Coast is scary. Eastern
going
Washington is terrifying.
You just see more and more Trump signs. You see more and more like.
I've got a Trump story sign, a Trump sign story.
It's a lot, and it's not to say that people don't have the right to their own opinion who they want to vote for, but you definitely see like the blue shift, like to pretend that the entirety of Washington from border to border is blue is super incorrect.
For
it just happens to be like when we get like towards Seattle, it's blue as hell. Like, and eventually you get into shades of purple, and then all of a sudden it becomes that super red.
For those of you who happen to be listening to this on the off chance that you aren't our direct friends and family who pity us and decide to listen to this show out of just sadness, Western Washington is essentially, there is a giant barrier created which is known as the Cascades. It's a mountain range that works as a barrier between Eastern and Western Washington. The second you cross those damn things, you get into the zone that we don't like to talk about. Eastern Washington is it's essentially crossing over into Iowa from just not only climate, not only politics, but climate. It is a weirdly baffling zone of climate complete difference. You're walking into a different state. It's weird and bizarre. But the thing that I want to address is the thing that Ben brought up earlier, where I speak this from a complete zone of safety. And I understand that I am the person sitting in the vault while the bombs are dropping. Is that we are going to be fine.
For the most part.
So,
as you were saying,
and there are some serious addendums.
As you're saying this, Ben, can you just tell
what you were just telling me? And it's not to discredit Andrew's point, because we've also talked about this a little bit.
Go for it. Discredit the shit out of it.
No, it's not.
No, I don't mean that negatively. Like, prove me the fuck wrong.
So,
I want to
just tell him the headline.
Yeah. So I handed John my phone, and my wife, my partner, Facebook update. There you go. So my partner was in Seattle for a conference going on, and she posted a thing. So in case you don't know, today,
I got it. Headline.
You're like Chuck Todd yesterday. I got a state to call for you, and we'll do that right after the break.
Headline. Live stream, Seattle anti-Trump protest and shooting. Her quote, "I am 1 block away from this. Don't tell me everything is going to be okay." It's tough
Okay.
to deal
Okay.
with. And again, like, you were
We're
with me when I
speaking
heard
from a
this the
zone of
first time.
safety. We are. And it's unacceptable to say that. And
It's-
really, I'm not going to retcon my words.
No.
And
No,
I'm not
this
going to take them away. But here's the thing. I will addendum this shit in that just because we are going to live does not mean we are going to live well. Just because I say that you are going to survive does not mean you are going to survive well. It is the equivalent of saying that just because you are going to live to... we made this joke earlier, and I think I made the very bad, kind of tasteless, but exceptional metaphor of it's the equivalent of being on an emergency room bed and being told that your injuries are life-threatening, but you'll make it to tomorrow. No one's fucking happy about the fact that you're on an ER bed. Except the asshole who apparently put you on aforementioned ER bed. But you're gonna make it another day. America will make it another day.
I guess that's...
And you're gonna get treatment, and we're gonna hopefully stitch you back together, but I will openly admit you're not gonna be the same person.
Did you guys listen to the speech that Barack Obama gave today?
I did.
And it's
Yeah.
actually really well done.
It's a 10-minute
I
speech.
can't listen to Hillary's concessions.
I have
Oh,
not
I
listened
can't-
to it.
I
can't bring myself to-
it. I'm
I
the same
sat
way.
down and I listened
I can't do
to
it.
I
the
can't do
first
it.
like 3 minutes of
You're
it.
gonna have to talk louder.
I listened to like the first 3 minutes of it, and it was just like I can't do this right now.
I listened to all of it, and I want to say there's a reason I will bring myself to listen to Barack and not to Hillary, and not anything involving anything bad.
No, I listened to
Sure.
Barack Obama's speech. That was
Can't-
wonderful.
I can't
I
listen
couldn't listen to Hillary.
I can't bring myself to listen to her concession speech, but I listened to Barack, and there is something, and there is forever something that I love that he embodies about this country, and it's what he came in on. He came in on a wave of hope and change and dreams for this country that we hadn't heard since the Civil
Yeah.
Rights Movement.
Well-
A man got elected to the presidency who basically came in with the I Have a Dream speech.
No, basically, yeah.
It was pretty equivalent. It's a ballsy thing to say it's equivalent, but let's be honest, the bloke wouldn't have been elected. It's like, these motherfuckers aren't doing anything right now. Like, we have to put someone new in.
It was...
Sorry for having to edit your podcast.
No. He never edits out the swears.
All my podcasts are explicit.
Yeah.
Good to know. But no, like,
Yeah.
the dude is such an eloquent speaker that
He's
you'd expect.
amazing at it.
But at the same time, and here's the thing that sucks, it's a very, very slight tangent, is that colored people in office can't be angry. And so he does a
you're
really
entirely
good job
right. You're
about
entirely
not
right, and that's some bullshit
approaching
right
anger.
there.
That's true. Barack Obama had to be a black Mr. Rogers.
He did a good fucking job at it, but
When
he also
did-
had to
I'd
be a
say
black
when-
Mr. Rogers.
When for the most part, there were moments where you knew he was disappointed.
No, the day
Oh, his disappointed father game was on point. Like,
the day we elect a Malcolm X is the day that I truly believe that this country has actually changed for the better. The day we elect an angry black man to the Senate, someone who is willing to shout and yell at the volume that a white man does, is when I know that we have
An
fully
African
changed
American
the country.
Bernie Sanders.
I would take.
Oh,
I
hell,
would take.
that's the other thing. And as much as
Yeah.
I love the Bernie movement, and I do, and I was a part of it and continue to be a part of it to this fucking day and believe in every single part of progressive politics. Let's not...
Burned to death.
Let's... Toasted! Let's not beat around the fucking bush. The only reason that Bernie was able to be an angry progressive man was because he was a white man.
You are.
And let's also not
You're not
disagree
wrong.
that the only reason he was able to be he was able to be an angry progressive anything is because he was a man.
That's
if that
also
was
true,
a
yeah.
black woman shouting the shit that he was shouting,
Because
she would have been shut down so fast.
Well, and we didn't see angry or disappointed Obama until it was his second term.
And he didn't give a fuck anymore.
When it was just like, all right, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and we're going to do some shit.
But he
To
was
quote-
still cautious about it though, because he knew that the next election is up on the line.
But
I think
to
as it
quote-
came closer and closer to the end of the month, or closer to the end of the election, he's like, no, at this point, like, fuck it. Like, I have some things to say. I don't get to get off my chest.
To quote Larry Wilmore, Obama cares. It's not Obamacare. It's Obama don't care. Like, that was essentially what he became at the end of it. Like, the level of I just don't give a shit anymore rhetoric, and that's not to declare that his eloquence in any way diminished. It was just that his rhetoric became more aggressive. And that was something that I loved. I ate that up. That level of aggression from a politician of color was something that no one had seen in this nation. Because you know what? We elected this man to the top office in the country, and that man is now either going to be a lame duck or one of the most powerful presidents in human history. And he doesn't give a shit anymore. And there was something fascinating about that to observe from the sidelines.
I'm still waiting for Obama to come out as an atheist.
As
a personal thing.
But the thing is, and I will say this, is if we're, like, I don't want to cover this because it would be an entire, like, 5-hour discussion.
Look, we only have another, like, 30 minutes.
His Christian politics did change how he thinks about the world.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I will also say that if he's not atheist, then he gives a very good name to Christians.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah. And I will say this, I feel like, and I feel like this, Ben, this brings back to potentially the original question, which is that we disparage too many people when we're, obviously. But not just, and here's the thing, not just our people. And I was talking with Ben about this earlier, is that Donald Trump isn't coming in on a wave of psychosis. He's not coming in on a wave of racists and sexist and insane people. As much as we as Democrats want to color,
God fucking damn it!
as much as we
Stop cleaning shit!
what do you need to clean? You did this an hour ago. Seriously, this is the worst. I'll wait to start my fucking.
Nah, I mean, you could. We've already lost it, so I might as well keep shouting.
He didn't come in on a wave of racism.
He didn't come in on a wave of racism. He didn't come in on a wave of sexism. He didn't come in on a wave of people who are willing to throw out fucking everything because you know what? The KKK is pretty fucking great. He came in on a wave of people who just genuinely lost their jobs, who don't have the fucking career opportunities that they need to. He came in on a wave of people who need fucking work. He came in on a wave of people who are unemployed because, once again, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, steel mills don't fucking exist anymore in this country. Steel mills don't exist. Manufacturing doesn't exist. As much as Detroit was a thing, Detroit is currently dying. We don't have the jobs that these people need anymore. We don't have the non-collegiate jobs that are required for a large chunk of this nation.
The era in which you could graduate from high school and just get a job and then support yourself and a family and buy a house, that died in the 1970s.
But it's dying for Ohio now.
Yeah,
and it's dying a very late death.
That's why the game of life needs to update itself real hard.
Oh, God. I
You just go one path or the other, and if you just take the non-college path...
Well, damn.
You made the bad decision. Did you go to high school? Well, also,
It
fuck
should just
you.
literally be a black pit at this point.
I want it to
because,
actually
Jesus.
be a pop-up
Went to high school. Did you take Running Start?
I really just want it to
Where are
be
your
open.
AP credits? What are you doing?
I really just want to be open the board and there's a fist that punches you directly in the face. And
That's
just the
kind
end
of what
it
it is, though. Like, it's the game of life is just a big kick in the nuts.
Crocodile Dentist.
Oh my God! I can't believe you made a reference to Crocodile Dentist on the Jesus.
Game of life is nothing more than elaborate Jackass the movie. Like,
Kinda, yeah. No, but in all seriousness, going back to the original thing,
small tangent.
I know, but it's a funny tangent, and it cheers us the fuck up after a depressing.
That's all we got. All we have
a
is jokes.
depressing goddamn Wednesday. But the thing is, and I will say this, is that Ohio, that is dying a late death. In most of the Midwest, it is a big deal to now know that you cannot just graduate from high school and walk out with a career. And Ben and I were talking about this, and it is white privilege talking. Because that has been the plight of everyone else for decades. Of, what do you mean I graduated from high school and college and I don't have a job because I'm African American? I admit to that. And I understand that. And I'm not saying I get that pain, because I am not that kind. I am not of that descent, and I am not that screwed. But there are plenty of people out there who did the right things, made the right moves, and are getting fucked over because of their race or the fact that they are that they're a woman, or the fact that they're gender neutral or gender different or whatever. If you are different from, once again, your joke, the control group, you're kind of getting fucked currently.
Oh yeah. No, I work with someone, and for the record,
You do? That's fascinating.
I work at. We're all in Redmond, Washington, right now, and I work at a Starbucks.
Wait, we can't have that in. I made fun of men's rights activists. We're all gonna die. Don't tell them.
No, whatever. Okay, good luck figuring out which fucking Starbucks in Washington.
There's actually about 25 of them in our span, so you're good.
Also, good luck figuring out which brewery we're recording in, you fuckers.
True, too. Yeah.
But anyway,
The best one in Washington. Continue.
so there is a person I work with who will. Okay, so Starbucks always wants you to write names of people on the drinks, right?
Yeah.
This is cute.
It's adorable.
I
It's a
appreciate
nice
it.
thing.
And the joke is that your name's always going to be spelled wrong. It doesn't matter. My name's Greg. Greg.
I will admit. Quick side note: I have said Andrew with this skin color and gotten.
That's exactly
Andrew.
where I'm going with this.
And they can go to hell.
Yeah. Okay. So my coworker will see people coming in and they'll ask them their names and things like that. And if it's someone who's like Indian coming in or Asian, they will.
Which is a lot.
There was one day where they were leaning over at me and were like, "I'm not going to ask them their name," and it's like, "Fuck you."
You gotta
And
not even because it's your job, because the entire point of learning and education is challenging yourself.
It's partially that. There's actually a really good podcast on NPR that discusses this about what's funny about the Indian accent, Indian names and stuff like that. Names you can't pronounce, because that's part of your fucking identity.
Now,
You should be able to get used to.
I will say a person
pronouncing that shit.
from India with an actual accent. It gets really difficult when they say they want a short latte with an extra shot.
So
That's a lot of
I'm not
S's.
That's a lot of S's, and short and shot sound the same.
Oh
Can-
God!
I'm not going to
I can
ask
see
you
that.
for an impression because that's
No,
shitty.
I'm not.
No, do it honestly, because the Indian
We had the
person.
permission. We
No,
have
but
permission
to
from one
put it in
Indian
perspective,
person.
I feel like not.
It sounds like this, and I'm not going to tell you which one I'm saying. Shot.
Valid. I will say though, it's not the Indian person gave you permission. I feel like we as people should be able to take a look and laugh at the genuinely funny things
Okay,
in
so
our
here's
community.
I'm a
whether it's Indian or once again pansexual or control group, we should be able to look at the things that are genuinely humorous
I like how
and
John's
recognize
nickname
them
is
as humorous.
I
I'm a
just
firm
appreciate that
believer-
John's nickname is Control Group.
Oh no, he is control group.
That's fine.
He is forever control group. He did that to himself.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's the first time I've ever been the majority of something.
Oh. Anyway,
continue.
moving on.
No, I genuinely lost my train of thought.
Okay, but moving back to
Take
part
it
of
back.
the original point is that we have to step back and acknowledge that as obvious and as easy, because it's so damn easy to paint everybody else as against us. It's the simplest thing in the world to stare at a very red map and just fuck you. It is the simplest thing to say everybody else who is not in these regions can go right to hell. And I think this is why, and I was trying to come up with a point about this cogently yesterday when I was watching election results come in and a buddy of mine actively said secession was a good idea and creating Cascadia.
Right.
I will say this right now. Lincoln, outside of Teddy Roosevelt, is to me my favorite president of all time. And I as much as I love Teddy Roosevelt, it's not even an argument. Lincoln is the most important human being that ever stepped into that office. Because it's the same argument, because I remember watching Ken Burns' topic on baseball. And I remember there was a baseball commentator who had been commentating since 1920s Alabama. And he sat there and in his southern accent was like, baseball was not baseball until Jackie Robinson stepped in. Because baseball is only baseball when you're allowing everyone the idea of competition.
Uh-huh.
Which is you cannot have a unified nation until you're actually allowing for the concepts of getting a unified nation, or in his case, a unified MLB. You can't do that. You can't argue that Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time because how many people were in the Negro Leagues being the best people of all time.
Well, and that's like to your point. That's exactly what Barack Obama was talking about this morning when he was saying that we aren't Republicans first. We aren't Democrats first.
We are Americans.
We are Americans first.
That was the best punctuation mark ever. But in all seriousness, like, this is the reason why I think, and will forever say, I love Teddy Roosevelt, I love FDR, I love Washington, I love every single person that stepped into that office. Because I am in the end a patriot, and that shit's important to me. But Lincoln is the only person who I think could ever hold the title of greatest president of all time, because the
by
bastard
definition, only
ended
one person can hold the
slavery.
greatest president of one time.
What's that?
I said by definition, only one president can hold the
But you know
greatest
what I
president.
mean. Like the only person who could potentially ever hold that record to me is the man who decided to say, "No, you're not leaving. We're correcting this, and if it takes war, it takes war. We are not letting you leave. We are having the conversations that are tough and are meaningful and will change this world. And if it means I have to shove a musket into your face, I will do that." And there is something
I would
moderately
also-
terrifying and brilliant about that.
I would also make the argument that the idea of Cascadia is absurd anyway, because you'd have to get British Columbia to agree
No,
to it.
I
too.
know, but that's not the point.
I mean, it's not the point, but like the whole premise of it is ridiculous.
Oh no, totally, I agree.
Like-
But the point is that, like, let's be serious. There's a reason the Canadian website crashed yesterday.
Right.
There's a reason this kind of rhetoric is so fucking easy to resort to.
Which, by the way, if you're going to leave the country, why would you go to Canada? That's that's like, oh, I hate you, Dad. I'm going over to Mom's house. No,
Well, no,
Canada's just like right.
We had this
Go
conversation-
to other countries. People.
We had this
Leave
conversation-
somewhere else more
Yes.
effective.
Go to New Zealand. Go to Australia.
Go
Right.
to Thailand and
Go to
deal with
somewhere
the.
fun.
Go
Like,
to Thailand.
Go
and
to
deal-
Germany. Go
Hang on,
to
hang on.
Ireland.
I really want to finish this joke. Go to Thailand, potentially deal with the military coup that is now happening because their king's dead.
So Canada.
Globalize
Canada-
political jokes.
As
As a
everybody.
side note, everyone should travel.
No,
If you
seriously,
haven't been out of this
please.
Yeah,
country,
please try.
Please, goddamn,
So,
leave this country occasionally.
I've been to Canada. There's 2 points I have about Canada. One of them is that Canada is basically just like weird America with politeness. That's all,
Yeah,
that's all it
basically.
really is.
Yeah, no, don't.
More or less. But number 2 is that during yesterday.
Oh shit.
Are we out?
Oh shit. We're out in 4 minutes.
Ah, fuck.
All right. Let me make my final point about
Yes.
this. Then.
All right, dude.
So
Good.
the general idea is that in the end, as much as we all see giving up and seceding and just fucking leaving as the answer, the problem is that does not acknowledge and that does not accept that someone else A, has a different viewpoint than you, B, that someone else could be right. The problem with leaving and the problem with not listening to people is that it's the easy answer to being challenged. It is the equivalent of saying, this person is not going to play by my rules, I'm taking my ball, and I'm going home. You are being a fucking child. You are not acknowledging that there are other people in this country that suffer from different problems than you, and it is accepting that you are the only one that matters. And I stated this to my parents yesterday, and I will state it again. There are very few people in this world that have taught me to care about other people. And I stated this in anger yesterday, and they're looking at texts, and we're talking about it again, and I am in agreement with them, and they are in agreement with me. This country is based on the principle that you vote and you care because you care about everyone else. You, in the end, and it's harsh and it's brutal, but it's real, is you do not matter. It is not about you. This election isn't about you. This country is not about you, and your state is not about you. Your vote has never, ever in the history of the United States been about you. It is about everybody else in this country and their ability to make a better life for themselves. And what happened yesterday was 48% challenging the other 48% and saying, we are not living well enough. Now, you can get into the actual nitty-gritty and the discussions of race and the real conversations that need to happen about privilege and the ideas of what matters. But in the end, this is not the end. that is another very large contingent, very vocal contingent, and a contingent that matters just as much as you matter, telling you no. And considering secession, not voting, or just not being involved is being a child. Yeah. And being a 10-year-old in a conversation between adults about what matters in this country. And you are not being helpful, and we do not need you here. The people who will stand up and actually help this country are the people who will be here on, well, it's Wednesday, but I guess Thursday morning, saying that they will actively try and aid this ailing country. But if you are considering leaving, fuck you. We do not need you here. The Republic will prevail. The Republic always prevails. And that is the way it will be.
Thank you.